Hello, dear friends at Kardec Radio. Here we are. One more series, one more book, new discoveries about the self, about life, immortality. And you're welcome to join us. Today we begin a new series. It's 15 cases of reincarnation. In the book that is being translated as we speak, with the kindness of Carlos Diaz and our collaboration as well. 15 past lives by Amália Domingos Soler, which was compiled by Luis Hu. And pretty soon we're going to be able to deliver the translation to Luis Hu, the editor, and from there on, hopefully it's going to be able for release and publication, and you'll be able to access it. What a joy, isn't it? It's a joy to be here. It's a joy to find new ways of discovering life through our own inner journey. Isn't that right? I know many of you have been in touch with us, our 11 p.m. hour. Some people ask, why 11 p.m.? Because 11 p.m. is the last hour of the day. And we are the workers of the last hour. Don't you think so? I think so too. We're the ones who are waking up and sharing the news that have been touching our hearts, changing our lives, moving ourselves forward to unimaginable ways and locations in this world. And by the way, talking about locations, in this hour we have collaborators in every part of the world, loving and kind people who have been joining forces with us in this beautiful works of the soul, right? So we're going to begin before we talk about the book and go through the therapeutic conversation. These are therapeutic conversations. We're going to say hi to those who are here live. If you're watching this or listening to this through Kardec Radio or YouTube, other hours, not live, on demand, remember, we also want to hear from you. We also would like to know who you are, what you need to know, which questions do you have, because we're customizing the programs to reach you. Who isn't suffering in the world? Everyone is. What can we do? The more we know about the laws of life, the better we're going to adjust ourselves and minimize the suffering of others and ours as well. Okay? I truly have to say I've missed all of you in this work. We had to give a break. We were forced to give a break for several reasons, but we're back. And we're very grateful to God and very grateful to everyone who has been on this journey with us together in this beautiful discovery. May I say hi to those who are here live? Why not? I know Kara and Mark Smith are there, and they are with us at this hour as well. Thank you, Carol and Mark, for being there, double checking our system at Kardec Radio, because we're also on the radio. If you have the app, if you go to the website, we're there live right now as well. Rihanna, how are you, Rihanna? And by the way, for those who are listening to us, the campaign for the book drive to South Africa is ongoing, and you can help us. Just go to Kardec Radio's website and you know information about it all. My dear cousin Erica and Danny, thank you for being here. They did fantastic work helping us at the symposium, which was fantastic. And this Saturday at Kardec Radio, you will be able to listen to the very, very breakdown and unprecedented interviews done by Erica and Danny. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ceisa, how are you? Ceisa, it's great to have you here. Paloma, Mamma Mia, what an honor, Paloma. Beautiful mother, friend of ours, member of the Spirit Side of Virginia, a super active spiritist here, and she's here with us in the last hour of the day of today. Thank you, Paloma. McCurfy Claire, how are you? Did you see McCurfy Claire's testimonial and her beautiful words in the video by Kardec Radio? Thank you, McCurfy Claire. You have no idea how much that has been helping many people. I've had lots of feedbacks about the video, and you have done your part. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Sunshine, how are you? We miss you at the symposium, but you are with us in our hearts and in the works that you're doing, and soon will be released. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Aline, our therapist, thank you. So excited. Me too. All of us. Solange, you're reading the book. Beautiful Solange. Thank you, thank you. Rudy, we're back on track finally. Yes, Sunshine and Rihanna. It's a joy to be here. Luciana Nicoliello, member of the Spirit Side of Virginia. Super active, super friend. And I got to know that it was your birthday yesterday. Can you believe it? It just escaped us. But, you know, you're not going to escape us. From us, from our hug tomorrow at the center, Luciana. Patricia, how are you? And Tiago, Nina, love the pictures, love the children, beautiful family. Thank you. And if you are in Nevada County, Sunshine back, Sabine back is taking care of it. So get together with the Publio Lentas Canada presence. My friend, how are you? Leticia, can believe it, Leticia. Super friend as well, member of the Spirit Side of Virginia. She's the vice president of the Medical Spiritist Association in the United States with Sonia Doi. She's here with us. Thank you, Leticia. And I know Juliano somewhere there, right? Ready, friend? Angelita, how are you? I know you guys at the Yes just had a beautiful meeting. You're getting in, and we're happy to have you here. Friends, these 15 cases of reincarnation are unique. Amália Domingo Soler, if you want to know more about her, go to thespiritistmagazine.com. Our magazine, and this periodical that comes every 3 months never stops, thank God. And on issue 30th, which was released in July of 2015, there's a beautiful article by our friend Alba Morales about the amazing Amália. Amália Domingo Soler was this beautiful Spanish lady born in the 18th century. She was born November 10th of 1835 in Seville, Spain. She discarnated on April 29th, 1909. And she was blind when she was 8 days. They realized she was blind. She was blind. She lived with her mother for 25 years. Then her mother discarnated. It was a blow in her heart. It was then she traveled to Madrid and wanted to find answers. Her life became harder, but she never gave up. She got to know Spiritism, and through knowing of Spiritism, she changed her life around and the lives all of us. She wrote several books in spite of it all. One of them is already in English, Memoirs of Father Germain, translated by beautiful friends from the south of the United States, from Florida. Yes, I'll tell you more the stories this coming Saturday of at Kardec Radio. But this book, 15 Past Lives, is coming about in English. Her cases of reincarnation are real. They came true through the revelations of the good spirits, and they can bring to you and I transformative truths you can recognize in you, and give yourself a new boost. Let me share about the forgetfulness of the past. If you go to the Spirit's book, there is a series of questions and answers that talk about the very forgetfulness of the past. It's subtitled Forgetfulness of the Past. And the main question is, why do we forget? How can we actually make it right if we don't know why we're here? And the mercy of God is the answer. To not remember past lives is a blessing overall. But Kardec asks, are there times in which we can access those memories? Yes. But we need to be cautious. What to do with that information? We can never dig deeper into our memories out of curiosity. It's dangerous. It's truly a can of worms, and you don't want that worm in your life. So what do? We need to access those memories when life is really troubling, when it's stagnated, when it's blocking us from functioning properly. Not that we have problems and we're going to access previous lives, because the easy shortcut to understand our current lives, the connections with previous lives, is our instinctive tendency. You know, those things that are easy for us to do and repeat again and again, the good and the bad. They come from many lives, many experiences. There you can get to know more about yourself. Knowing that you were worse than you are today. You're better today than you were yesterday. And you will be, and me too, better tomorrow than we are today. So that's a good prayer every day when we wake up. May I be better today than I was yesterday. May I learn the new, so I don't fall in the trap of old conditionings. And in this way, we are going to immerse ourselves in the case of today. But before I begin, I want to say thank you, Camila Fleming in South Carolina. I miss you being here too, but it's good that you're here connected with us. It's your Spiritist Center for the time being, Camila, right? Thank you, beautiful Ceisa. Rafael Cunha, welcome, welcome. Thank you. I miss you too, Angelita. Denise, my beautiful cousin. I miss you too. Eu também quero falar com você em português. Sol Souza, how are you? Are you ready for the case of the little blind girl? Be ready, because these cases are true, dramatic, but they can transform our lives too. Let us immerse ourselves. Case of the little blind girl. Amália Domingos Soler begins by telling us that she received a visit by her friend Alicia. Alicia, who was a very dear person to her, a very distinct woman, who had an aristocratic, way of being, very polite, very well instructed, and truly spiritist. She was married, a good mother, and dedicated herself to her family. But she never disclosed to the family, never bothered her family with the teachings of Spiritism because they didn't agree with her. So she never created friction with them regarding that. That's interesting. But you know, one day she was talking to Amalia, and in her conversation, the case is a little bit long. I cannot read word by word. Excerpts, so we can go to the point. She says, you know, Amalia, I know you suffer too, and pain is something that really happens in our lives. And you know, my husband discarnated, but he discarnated in a very difficult way. And Amalia said, how did he die? How did your husband die? She said, well, he actually died out of hunger. And she was shocked. Amalia exclaimed, Jesus, how terrible. Did he have any cancer that impeded him from eating, that blocked him from eating? And she said, no. He was a good man. He was a good man, very healthy. He knew how to take care of his health like few men. He was a physician, and he used to help everyone. He used methods of hygiene like nobody else. He would help through his science, family, sick people, no matter if they were of any social class. He used to say to everybody that science is equality in action. What a spirit. Equality in action. And the true physician is the greatest democrat, the great leveler. There are no social classes when we need health care. Very fitting for the current times when in the United States we are discussing about health care for everyone, right? And in the world, it's human right. It's part of human rights that everyone deserves to have free access to health care. I know many physicians will not like what we're saying, but you know, the true physician does not rely on his profession to make a fortune. Never thinks of making a fortune through the sacred ministry of medicine. That's the reality. These are Dr. Bezerra de Menezes' words. This was also the slogan by Dr. Marlene Nobre, and this is hopefully the next step in the world, right? Hello, Dejanira, Sueli, Dejanira, João Carlos Batista, friends. Our dear Dr. Joyce Magalhães is here, and she attests to this veracity, right, my friend? You are an advocate for the cause. I know Leticia is as well, Sonia Doi, and many others who are spiritists, right, Juliano? Right, Simone. Beautiful works for the children in Orlando, Simone. Now, so why did he die out of hunger? Right? Amalia then said, well, he may be doing well in the spiritual realm. But the wife, Alicia, replied, no, Amalia. I think his death may be a great obstacle for his glory because he killed himself. He committed suicide. Amalia then asked, what was the reason for such a violent determination? And Alicia says, well, I'm gonna tell you, Amalia, one of my daughters got married, and she gave birth to a beautiful girl with beautiful eyes that seemed to be two stars. And when she was born, my husband, her grandfather, the grandfather of the baby, he was mesmerized with the little baby. Grandpa and the granddaughter were two bodies in one soul. Every time they were together, they were happy. My husband rejuvenated after the birth of the little girl. Every time he had the baby in his arms, he renewed himself. And he would be so caring and diligent regarding the little one that he avoided any health issues that happened to her. He prevented each and every occurrence. But one day, she contracted the smallpox, and it attacked her eyes. She couldn't see any longer the little girl. My husband didn't want to eat or sleep anymore. He was devouring the books, searching for light for those eyes that were his life. He was so dedicated, but he couldn't find any solution to heal the eyes of his granddaughter. And he said, I will do something. I will do something. But he never found it. He never found a solution for it. And he was desperate. I can believe I restored the vision of many people, but I cannot restore the vision of my angel. Now she's gonna use a glass eye, and she only is gonna be able to see half through the world. And because he was not able to cure the blindness of one of the eyes of the little girl who was his granddaughter, he refused to eat. He refused to drink water. No matter how hard I tried, said the wife. He used to tell me, it's to no use that you tell me anything. I cannot eat or drink water. 2 days before he died, he asked me to eat for fruits, but it was too late. He died out of hunger, and the only thing he said, when we serve to no use, we need to leave our place to others. And Amalia asks, what is the connection between his soul and the soul of your granddaughter? Where does it come from, that relationship? And that's when Alicia, very humbled by the scenario that she lived in, she asks Amalia, could you please ask your spirit guide, Amalia, to know the history of these two spirits? I would be very grateful. Why did my husband die in such a way? He who was such a serious, committed man, who was very kind to everyone. And Amalia said, I promise you that in the first opportunity, I will ask my spirit guide. And now you're going to hear the words of the spirit guide of Amalia Domingo Soler, who brought this information to her through psychography. Okay? So let us listen, because the lesson serves a purpose to you and I. We need to observe that there are instinctive tendencies, like the tendency of this grandfather and the granddaughter, They loved being together, and this is not because of the ties of the blood. Why is it? Where are the roots of that affinity, of that love? And why his frustration for not being able to heal? Says the mentor of Amália Domingos Soler, your impulse to know the past as well as Alicia's is fair. And it's the object of the study that I'm going to share with you. Pause. Many people, unlike Allan Kardec, unlike Amália Domingos Soler, unlike Chico Xavier, don't want to dig deeper in the details of lives to know more the solutions of people's problems. And that's a problem. This is not curiosity. It's about relieving the pain. Spiritism is the promised consoler. We can ask the spirits in cases like this, why? I remember people asking Divaldo Franco in front of me, why Divaldo? This is happening in my family. And I witnessed Divaldo Franco very privately but kindly sharing the information that the spirits brought to console the person's heart by telling details of previous lives. There is a fine line between knowing out of curiosity and knowing because we really need to heal our hearts. But we can't put this two aside. If the spirits don't think we should know, they won't tell us. But if we need to know, and if it's going to bring relief, they will. Listen to this case. The man who died out of hunger, whose name is Raul, and his granddaughter were two spirits who have been together for many centuries. Many centuries. They have been united by all different types of terrestrial ties. And in the latest incarnations, they were inseparable friends. Inseparable friends in previous lives that now are reunited by the ties of grandfather and granddaughter. How many friends we have today that will be in our family tomorrow? How many people in our family today will be friends tomorrow? This is the reality of reincarnation. That's why we need to look at people in the eyes and say, I care about you, not because you're in my family, not because you're my friend, just because we are children of God. Right? Aren't we? We are the children of God. We are the children of God. We've reincarnated to learn to do good and to do good to all without exception, including people who apparently have nothing to do with our lives. Right, Carol Correa? Yes, sunshine. Yes, friends. Yes. For many centuries, Raul used to heal the sick. The little girl in this reincarnation as his granddaughter, in a previous life, was a disciple of Raul, an assistant, very dedicated assistant. They were master and disciple working together side by side, inseparable. I've seen many of such cases in science, working as a scientist. Some scientists, like master and apprentice, who become so connected, and you ask, why are they so much, connect previous lives? This is not the first life they're working together. Like this grandfather and granddaughter in a previous life, scientist, physician with the apprentice. They would heal many people. They were really infallible in their medical diagnosis. Their words were prophetic. They never made a mistake. They always maintained the well-being of health and prevented diseases. They were convinced about their infallibility. And they started researching together. Because of that fame that they acquired, they started working deeper and deeper in their research, okay? And they were testing their injections in children, in hospitals, as in orphanage. Some children would die out of their testing. Back then, we didn't have the human rights we have today. We didn't have the safety pathways that we have nowadays, assuring and securing the rights of patients, the rights of subjects in research, and people would be used for this research, and they would probably die, like many children died in this case. And they thought, what was the death of a child without a family if they were trying to search for solutions to heal humanity? That was their mentality, okay? Fame made them very proud of themselves. Ego, not the bird, ego. Pride, unhealthy pride. They kept on testing, and Raoul was a true celebrity in that life. He was a true celebrity. And as a true celebrity, he kept on doing this research in spite of the death of the little children. And the disciple never left him and never envied the master, because they loved one another. United by many centuries, they kept being together, and they kept experimenting. And today, as they reincarnated, says the Spirit, they believed they were gods. Pride blinded them. And because pride is a sin, Raoul and his disciple, they themselves condemned themselves. In this life, they had to come to terms with their own conscience. The beloved disciple is today the sweet little girl to whom the grandfather, with all his knowledge, was incapable of healing completely. And the proud sage, the one that thought he was infallible, was not able to heal his little dear angel. He had no compassion for the poor children who were sacrificed by his study and scientific investigation. He suffered through the consequences of his indifference in the past. The pain that does not have compassion pushes us to experience it so we can value it. In the last reincarnation, Raoul had his science eclipsed in comparison to the previous lives. His great intelligence in medicine suffered extraordinarily because he didn't use it wisely. He knew where the medicine was, but at the decisive moment of administrating it, he observed he made a mistake. His action did not correspond to the impulse of his thought. This is very interesting. How does this happen? Let me recap the phenomenon that the spirit guide of Amalia Domingo Soler is explaining here, because it may happen in your life and in my life. How often we think we know of the solution of our problem, and we work on it, we investigate, we make an effort, and when we think we're gonna make it right, we have the solution slipping away from our hands and we can't see it. It's as if the spirit is thinking something and the material body is processing something else. How often you prepare yourself for an interview, go there for a new job. In your mind, you know what to say, how to compose yourself. But when you want to translate it to the physical, there is a blockage. Why? Constrictions that are due to previous lives' occurrences. Can we unblock it? Yes. Could Raul in this life have found the solution? I don't know, maybe. What if he surrendered himself to God and understood that he was not the one healing anyone? How many mediums blind themselves thinking that they are the healers, when we know that the healer is only God? He died in the way he died, humiliated, convinced about his insignificance and his smallness. He believed to be a God and died knowing that there are no gods, because there is only one God. Do you feel defeated at times? Thinking, oh man, I cannot do it. You see, I'm so small. Instead, we should be stronger in God and saying, God, I don't know, but you know. I will persist and find a solution. If I need to be focused, I will. But I know that it will only happen if it is according to your will. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, where harmony is taking place. Which means we need to find harmony with God. Raul is a case of ego domination. How often we feel defeated like Raul and we surrender to depression because we think we are gods. And if I cannot solve the problems of my life and the life of my loved ones, then there is no reason to live. When we have that attitude, we're trying to become more than God. It's not about us. It's not about any of us. It's God's will. Right, Lea Severo? Lea Severo. We're very grateful that you're here. Abby, tia Abby, thank you for being here with us as well. Beijo. At the end of the case, let's listen to the final words of the mentor before I give you a beautiful exercise Mentor Joseph is giving to us. Right? Right, Rudy? We're renewed with this beautiful story. It says here that the scientific pride, in a way, blinded Raul. Now he is in a better state because he recognized that there is only God. We are happy to be here too, Leia, and with you too. Raul discovered that the unknown science, with its marvelous power and strength, can only happen because of God. Bottom line of it all, says the mentor. He says, study carefully this brief report that I mentioned about the death of the proud sage. It's not enough to penetrate the temple of science. It is fundamental to learn to love and feel compassion. For us spiritists, it's a lesson. We cannot. I've had the opportunity to exercise science for more than 2 decades. And I tell you, the Spiritist teachings are so wise because the knowledge of science can never overshadow the need to love and to feel compassion. People are not going to come to know Spiritism because of science. Because Spiritism is the promised consoler. They are going to come across the scientific pathway of Spiritism because they need answers for their pain. Not because science, I've never heard science compassionately treating anyone. I've never read a paper that talks about it. That's not the subject of science, but it is the objective of the Christ consciousness, of the Spiritist teachings. Science is blessed, but it's not the solution to the world and for the world. Because we need to learn to love. Science is not researching on it. We need to feel compassion. Kind of science is trying to touch it, but not with the objective of really healing, because the goal is to find the understanding of the mechanisms. As a scientist, I tell you, Spiritism comes to bring us the relief. Forget the pride. The pride that is excited by this mistaken academic mentality, because it's going to block us from actually feeling. And the mentor says, you cannot underestimate society, because this spirit thought he was infallible. In the simple fact of being born, we must consider that spirits reincarnate on the earth to fulfill a mission, whether small or great. Every single human being deserves respect, and we shall make effort to protect and love each being. Science, the science that does not rescue those who are suffering, needs to be punished. These are the words of the mentor of Amália Domingo Soler. We need science with compassion, like Dr. Bezerra de Menezes said, and like Dr. Marlene Nobre often mention in her talks. So Amalia ends up by saying, the Spirit is right when he says we need to study the story of this man who thought of himself as God and valued very little the life of others and his own body. What a great mistake. How necessary it is to understand about life after death. If Raoul knew, he wouldn't have surrendered to desperation, destroying his body. On the contrary, he would have made double effort to give light to the blind, knowing that suffering is never irreparable. Only the study of Spiritism will be great for us before pain. And Amalia ends up by reminding us of how one life connects us to the next. How much the knowledge we know can boost our lives to humility. Today, as we talk about pride, in our therapeutic conversation, we're being asked to work on our humility. How many aspects of our lives are pushing that button? Be more humble. Be more humble, Vanessa. Be more humble, Vanessa. But what is to be more humble? To be quiet and not talk to anybody? Or to talk with everybody with true respect, feeling that you need to serve humanity all the more? Right, Livia Trevisani? What an honor. And Aidan Cazares and Constant Franklin. Here we have an intercontinental group serving this community. So friends, we're going to end up this beautiful reflection about Amalia Domingo Soler's case with a visualization, because these are therapeutic conversations, and we are going to end up with a visualization of release, because we need to forgive ourselves from previous lives' mistakes and the mistakes that are incurred against us, so we can regain humility, or actually boost it to higher levels. Shall we? You can close your eyes if you want. I'll keep my eyes here half open, half closed, to guide you into a short visualization to release these ties, the shackles that Emmanuel says of the past, trying to make efforts to seek the good, feel the good, visualize the good, and mold the good with all the resources we can. So let us breathe in and out, feel comfortable where you are. If you're driving, don't close your eyes, just listen. If you are doing anything else, take this visualization and play it some other time so you can dive into it. Breathe in and out, feeling the joy of this moment. Breathing in and out, let us visualize ourselves above the timeline of our many lives. Breathe in and out, and visualize yourself. Look at the past and visualize your heart radiating healing light of forgiveness. Tell yourself to your past lives, experiences and choices, I forgive myself for the choices driven by pride, by ego. Repeat it. I forgive myself for the choices made out of pride, ego. And once again, I forgive myself for the unhealthy choices I made in the past due to pride and ego. Visualize the light of God enveloping you and the timeline of your experiences melting the nodule of disturbances with the light of love, releasing you to new learning opportunity. Breathe in and out and tell yourself, I am open to the new. I am open to the good. I am open to learn to serve God. Breathe in and out and look at the timeline of your future. Visualize a garden of peace in your relationships, in your connections of the heart. Only light, only peace. Visualize the good in your life. Put your hand on your heart and say, I accept the good in my life. I accept the good in my life. And once again, I accept the good in my life. Breathe in and out. Open your eyes. Open your eyes and propose yourself. Let us propose ourselves in the day-to-day to really work out these beautiful affirmation. I am a child of God, learning to do good, reincarnated to learn to do good. Shall we? I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I've reincarnated to learn to do good. And I want to do good. And I want to be better. And for everything that was unhealthy, I forgive. Mine or others. Begin anew. How are you feeling, friends? This is the beginning of 15 cases of past lives that also match so much of our lives. Thanks to Amália Domingos Soler, we have the opportunity of revisiting our instinctive tendencies and turn our lives around. For those who are going to go to sleep, we wish you a productive night of sleep, in the good, in the learning. For those who are going to continue their day, like Rihanna in South Africa, Julie in Australia, friends in other parts of the United States, like Sunshine or others, or those listening to us on demand, we wish you a beautiful day of lots of healing and forgiving. Thank you, Simone, for being here. Thank you, Rihanna, Sunshine, Simone. If you have any questions, send it to us. Thank you, dear Leah. Send it to us and we'll incorporate it. Thank you, dear Carol Correa, and many other friends. We will be with you tomorrow at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the second case of Past Life by Amália Domingos Soler. Thank you very much. May God bless us, everyone.